But what I want to do a little bit of tonight is help you understand some basics of trade planning. That way, when an alert does come, you know how you individually should be planning to trade it. Now, there's several ways that I send out alerts here, and one thing that I've stayed consistent with to every single person that's joined here has been one thing, that there are so many things going on during the trading day in this type of atmosphere that I truly, honestly believe you will be better off by sitting back and observing and absorbing what you are taking part in for that first week that you're a member. I don't believe whatsoever that doing that is limiting your alerts. Or your profits, I mean. I don't believe that at all is limiting your profits. What I do believe is it's limiting your losses. One thing that I've found in my experience with traders in general is, and I'm even talking experienced traders, I've joined other services in the past, even as an experienced trader. And you get in there and you get kind of caught up in everything that's going on, and sometimes you forget to just kind of step back and see how they do it, see what's going on. And let me tell you too, in my experience with this, what I have found is the people that do or that become the most successful here are the people that, they listen to that. They sit back for that first week, as hard as it might be, because they find that I keep my word on when I tell them, hey, after you're here for a week, we'll sit down together and we'll start planning things out for how you should properly trade. The people that don't do as well are the ones that ignore me on that part, throw all their money into one trade, and it happens to be one that doesn't go too well. I'm also a firm believer of, for the average person, when your money is in a trade, your ears close. Just being honest there, especially for a new trader. And, those of you that have been around a while, you can probably agree with me. Think back to when you were new and you put your money into a trade, and what do? You sit and you watch it, 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 and you watch it. Your house could be burning down around you, and you're not going to get up. So the main reason for me requesting that, newer members kind of sit back and observe the first week is because I know that unless you are, your ears are closed, because your focus is on the one or two alerts you might follow. Okay? One thing I'll also say that I'm very consistent on is the way that I alert the alerts that you'll see. By that I mean I have quite a few different ways I trade. I do my best to explain those to everybody so everybody kind of has an understanding of them, where you know that whether or not I'm going really heavy in a position, whether I'm scaling into a position. And I talk about it several times, and it's really the trading style I believe that most of you will benefit from is, my option swing trading. It's shorter term trade. It's nothing that you're going to be holding for years and years. It's stuff that you're going to hold for a swing. You know, what is a swing? It's a single movement in a stock. Hopefully it's multiple days. You know, the sweet spot for me is when they're 2 or 3 weeks long. I love those ones because usually those ones produce very, very big profits. But let's say we've gotten to that point where we've talked about your position sizing and such, and I recommend a specific size position to you, and you see an alert that says I'm going to scale in to a trade, take my first of 3 planned buys. How much of the money that you and I have talked about per position should you be buying with? Yeah, 1/3. And what if a particular contract that you may see an alert on, one contract happens to be larger than 1/3 for you? Don't do it. There'll be other alerts. There'll be ones everybody can play. But you shouldn't change a set of guidelines that, you know, we set for you with the attempt to make you more successful just so you can be a part of everything. And here's why. I've talked about this several times with option swing trades. You know, you've got 2 choices when you're in a swing trade on an option. Choice A, sit and stare at it, freak out about it with every move it might make, constantly doubt or question yourself on what you need to do, sell or buy more or what. And even with choice A, it would be when it fails on you, either just sit and stare at it and do nothing, stop out, or, well, I'd say stop out or just stare at it, do nothing. With my style of trading and how I do my scale-ins and, you know, the success rate of the trades I make, if I buy with only a 1/3 planned position size, knowing, you know, a lot of you have seen how volatile options can be and stuff, if you see me buy with like a 1/3 planned position size, why am I doing that? Why am I not just going all in? Oh no, Jonathan, actually, even when I'm 100% sure I won't go all in those types of trades. It's risk management. I mean, let's face it. I can sit and look at something and say, yep, that's going to go up. And hey, a month from now, it might be up from where I said it's going to go up at. Does that mean it'll be up tomorrow? Does it mean it'll be up tomorrow? Nope. Does it mean it'll be up 5 minutes from now? So I give myself the opportunity to possibly, I would say to possibly acknowledge the fact that it might not go exactly like I wanted it to go. Anybody ever make a trade plan? I hope you do. I hope that if we don't take anything else out of tonight, we take the importance of a trade plan. How many of you right now, your trade plan consists of, I buy, I hope it goes up. And that's where your trade plan stops. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest. Because if your trade plan starts with, I like this stock, and ends with, I'll sell when it goes up, and has nothing in between there, you probably find yourself failing a lot. When you look at a and I won't even say when you look at a chart. I won't even say that. When you look at a potential entry, what's one of the first things, probably the first thing you should acknowledge? Well, let me expand that a little bit, and I would say, how much am I willing to lose? Right? You know, I could have my tolerance levels and say that if I make a first buy on a scaling in trade plan and it goes south, I'm willing to hold. And I can convince myself that because if I do that, even a 100% loss on that buy is really only a 33% loss on my total trade plan. And since I know I pick more winners than losers, I just don't care about it. Is that always going to be the case with you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. One thing that you need to understand about any trade you'll ever make is that there is always a risk. There's a risk in every trade. Nothing's guaranteed. I don't care what you read on iHub. Well, if you read it on iHub, it's probably a lie. I don't care what Carl Icahn does, what Warren Buffett does. There's no guarantee that just because you buy something that it's going to go up. So we need to, on an individual level, decide how much are you willing to lose in a trade. And on top of that, not just how much might you be willing to lose in a trade, because I can tell you, at first you're going to say, well, not very much. And then as you're here for a while, yeah, I'm a little more flexible now. And then you hear for a little bit more, you're like, okay, I've seen enough winners, I'm pretty much open to whatever. It's not necessarily complacency to say that. It's more of one's tolerance level based on their position size and stuff like that. The first thing you never want to do with a trade is, let's say I'm going to buy an option or a stock, doesn't matter what it is, common stock, option, doesn't matter. And regardless of what my position size is, I say, I don't want to lose more than $100. If my position goes down $100, what should I do? All right. And some of you, did you see how quick they answered that? Their answer wasn't send an email to Coach Mike and wait. Their answer wasn't see if it comes back. Wait and see what Coach Mike does. You can email me. You can private message me. There's no problem with that stuff. But that's irrelevant to the point I'm making right now, Aaron. The point I'm making now is when you decide what your risk, what your acceptable risk is, it shouldn't matter what my acceptable risk is. Do you understand that? I have people all the time. I sell something because I don't like it or whatever, I'm just going to hold it. Usually I'll talk to those people and be like, are you sure? I disagree with that, Michael. I disagree with that. I disagree that it's relative to account size because position size is relative only to a percentage, not to account size. Right? The dollar amount I lose and the dollar amount you lose, or the dollar amount I win, the dollar amount you win might be different due to the size of a position, but the effects on our account should be the same. Right? Can you properly diversify with a small account? Absolutely. What if that account's only $500? Can I play more than one trade at a time? Yep. Not just yes, but you should. You better. There's no reason that somebody with a $1,000 account can't trade 10 different positions. There's no reason. To some of you that have been here for a while, I've proved that to you over and over and over again. That's, yeah, Diana, I'm being very, very honest. Let me use an example. Jonathan, do you mind if I talk about you for a minute? You do mind? Okay. Jonathan joined here about 5-6 weeks ago. Less than $1,000. Actively trading 5 positions, 3 to 5 positions at any given time. What percentage is your account up now, Jonathan? Is it 200 or 300% that you're up? There you go. 5 weeks. In the first 2 weeks he was here, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't listening. It took him a couple weeks to believe. So really in about 3 weeks of listening. Do you put all your money in any one trade, Jonathan? We're not counting what he did before he started listening, Brian. About Marcelo. Is Marcelo here right now? No, Marcelo's not here. And Marcelo started here 2.5 weeks ago. I think that's phenomenal, Kim. You've been doing it for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now? Yeah. How's that not great? 20% in a couple weeks, I'll take it. You see, you may have been a part of other, I won't even call them similar services, just because they use Omnovia for their chat room. I would just say you might have been a part of other services where you've been brainwashed that, 10% is a good trade type of thing, because it's not the case. When you trade properly, you should have your standards set much higher. And it's not about greed, because a large part of the proper planning is to properly identify target areas. And that's more that we're going to get to. I'm kind of opening this up with the speech on importance of this stuff. Getting back to trading properly, no matter your account size. It was just a few weeks ago that I talked to somebody like Jonathan, and I said, buddy, you need to be making $100 per trade. And he said, I won't make any money. And I said, try it. Tell me what you think. He hasn't looked back. You can properly diversify yourself. You can properly diversify yourself no matter how much money you have. And there are ways you can properly make those trades. And there are ways you can positively grow your account doing it. I pretty much talk about it in every video a little bit, Diane. Yeah, Joe, that's the exact suggestion I make. That for the first week you're here, that you kind of sit back, get to understand how we operate, how some of our trades go, the types of trades we make. And let me tell you, this is why. It all comes down to, as soon as you hit the buy button the first time, you stop listening. It's not just you saying a negative about you, it's anybody. It's anybody. Mike G, are you in here? Mike G just joined a few weeks ago. Got all excited. Here's how much money I got, blah, 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 blah. Where do I start? Just like anybody else. I said, you start with the first week absorbing, listening. What? I'm here to trade. I know you are, and we'll do that. Week 1, he lost $0. Week 1, he made $0. Week 2, trading much smaller amounts than what we've already worked him up to, he made $1,600. Why? The guy was in here all day, every day. Not just like during the trading day, because he, for work, he had to miss some time. But in the evenings, he's watching the videos, asking questions about the videos, attending the lessons, and was able to sit back and do those things. Now, I've got people, one that's not in here right now, Joe W., if you ever meet him, likes to do a lot of trading. First week here, I said, hey, you like doing a lot of trading? Good, stop that. Just chill out for a week. Second week, here you go. A little bit more understanding of things. The guy's like, wow, I'm digging myself out of holes that I created. So believe me when I say it's not to limit your profit potential that I say that. It's to actually limit your loss potential. There's a lot of times where people can tell you things, and due to a lack of trust or anything else, you choose not to follow it. The number one thing I have seen that be is proper position sizes. Why are proper position sizes important? Not just important, of the utmost importance. And balancing risk, I like that answer. Give me a blunt answer. Somebody give me a blunt answer. There you go. So that if we do take a loss, it doesn't hurt you. You've still got money in the game. A lot of people tell me, they say, well, coach, if I trade this with less money, I'm going to make less money. And I say, you're right. You'll lose less money. First couple times, it generally takes them a second to realize that I changed their own words on them. But people that join here and stay here have bought into the importance of the things I teach. Yeah, there's some basic rules somebody can follow when it comes to position sizing. There might be some modifications that need to be made on a personal, like an individual basis for each person, but it's a good starting point. What are a couple rules we've talked about for position sizing? Somebody throw them out there. No more than how much of your account goes into common share position. 10%, yep. No more than how much your account in an options position. 5. Like I said, there'll be some modifiers in there on an individual basis when you and I begin to plan your account specifically. You know, you guys, some of you have seen and you didn't believe me at first. And I want you to be honest. You know, some of you like Jonathan and whatnot came in here with smaller accounts. I said these same things to you and you didn't believe me. Do you believe me now? Yeah. So understand, the way a successful person makes money in the stock market, it's not by getting lucky on one trade. Absolutely not. It's having a high win percentage where you take more wins than losses. It's proper risk management, which can be done in many different ways. You can manage risk by position size. You can manage risk by, you know, tight stop outs. What are other ways we can manage risks? We can take in the money calls instead of buying common shares, right? And later execute or exercise those calls to then buy. Yeah, we can straddle and strangle in times where it's like, I like it here, but it could go either way, so I'll play both sides, and once the move is made, I'll sell the loser. Take a loss on the loser, but a bigger win on the winner. Yep. Those are ways we can do that. And how should you manage risk if you simply just don't know what to do on a particular trade? Stay out of it. One thing that people like to do is overcomplicate their trading. They like to overcomplicate their trading. They like to make it harder on themselves than it needs to be. Whether you trade options or common shares, a mix of both, doesn't matter. There are ways to properly do it and succeed at it.